Roost. You ever mess around with things you probably shouldn't? Little energies, little whispers that aren't quite there. I did. Always had a knack for it, even as a kid. Started with just feeling things, like the hum of a power line or that quiet pull before a storm. Then it got deeper, more focused, and eventually, it got a whole lot darker. See, I got into the arts, the ones that touch on the unseen. And from there, it's a short slip down into what some folks call the dark arts. Not evil necessarily, just powerful and demanding. Mind-blowing, really. It shows you what the world really is beyond the skin. And I also fought roosters. Yeah, I know, it ain't for everyone. But there's a craft to it, a dedication. These weren't just any birds. These were expensive pedigree fighters. You trained them, you fed them, you made them into what they needed to be. And you wanted the baddest one, right? The fastest, the fiercest. I had a way with mine. Used special supplements, a secret blend of grains and proteins. High-speed chicken feed, you dig? Made their muscles dense, their reflexes lightning quick. And the one I had, his name was Spurs. Black as midnight, with feathers that shimmered iridescent, like oil on water. Eyes like chips of obsidian, always watching, always calculating. And those spurs? Curved daggers, honed by nature and my own care. He was a champion, never lost, not once. He tore through every bird I put him against. My boy, my king of the pit. Then one morning, I found him. Laid out in his coop, still and cold. No blood, no marks, no signs of a struggle. Just gone. The vet said it was old age, a good run for a fighter. But I wasn't having it. Not Spurs. Not my Spurs. He was meant for more than just fading away in his sleep. My chest felt hollow, like someone had scooped out a handful of my insides. He was more than a bird to me. He was a part of me, a reflection of something in myself. That's when the other arts started whispering, the ones I'd pushed to the back of my mind, the ones I told myself were too dangerous, too demanding. But grief, man, grief makes you do crazy things, makes you think you can cheat the natural order. I wanted him back, desperately. So I started digging, pulling out old journals, dusty things I hadn't touched in years, things I shouldn't have known, let alone understood. I cleared out the old shed, the one behind the chicken runs. It was quiet out there, away from prying eyes. Lit some candles, real beeswax, not that cheap paraffin. Drew some symbols on the dirt floor, things I barely understood, just followed the old scripts. Placed Spurs in the center, on a clean white cloth. He looked so small, so utterly final, and I just focused, pulled on those energies, the ones that tug and coil in the dark corners of the world, called his name, over and over. Spurs, come back. Nothing, for a long, long time. Just the flickering candlelight, the smell of wax and dust, and the stale scent of straw. My own breath catching in my throat. I felt foolish, like a kid playing make-believe. Then, a tremor. Not in the shed, but underneath it. A deep, resonant hum that vibrated in my teeth, a sound that seemed to come from the earth itself. The candles flared, guttered, flared again, casting dancing shadows that looked like grasping hands. And Spurs, he twitched. Just a feather at first, then a leg. Slowly, stiffly, his head snapped up. His eyes, they weren't obsidian anymore. They were red, like coals burning in the dim light. And bigger, so much bigger. He stood up, slowly, unsteadily at first, then with a sudden jerky movement that was less bird and more machine. And he just kept getting bigger, His feathers bristled, grew longer, sharper. His neck thickened, stretching. His spurs elongated, gleamed like polished bone, curving into truly fearsome talons. He stretched, fully. Stretched until he was almost chest-high to me, taller than he'd ever been. Then he let out a crow. But it wasn't a rooster's crow. It was a laugh. A deep, rasping sound that rattled the shed windows, a sound like stones grinding together. And then he looked at me, right at me, and he spoke. Not a cackle, not a squawk, a voice. Low, gravelly, like that grinding sound. I'm back. He flapped those enormous wings, and the air cracked around us, whipping the candlelight wildly. The dust swirled like a miniature cyclone. And I'm hungry. My blood ran cold. He was back, all right. But it wasn't my boy. Not anymore. The eyes, the monstrous size, the voice. It wasn't Spurs. Not the one I'd raised. It was something else, wearing Spurs' skin. Something that had answered my desperate call, but brought its own price. I'd wanted my champion back, and I got a king. But what kind of king? And what does a king demand from his creator? He turned his head, those red eyes scanning the darkened shed, then met mine again. And in that gaze, I saw it. Not gratitude, not loyalty, just hunger. And a terrible, terrible knowing. I had opened a door, and something walked through it. Something that used to be my rooster. And now, well, now I live with a rooster that talks. A rooster that understands far more than he should. A rooster that occasionally reminds me, with a low rumble in his chest, exactly who is in charge. And it isn't me, not anymore.